Savage.
He wants you back, Dex. He's calling you back for the state of Florida, my guy.
Yeah, the sanity's coming back this way, and it's safe for kids. I got 3 kids in school.
Real talk, no filter on Savaged Unfiltered. Savaged.
Guys, welcome to the show. Welcome to Savaged Unfiltered. I am the host, Savaged here, and joining with me here is the one and only Joseph M. Leonard, known to Savaged Unfiltered and the podcasting world of the listeners of us, Jokester Joe. Welcome in, Joe. How's it going?
Going pretty good. I'm ready to be unfiltered. I got my Shotcaster shirt on.
Yeah, I do see that. Yeah, and you're looking you're looking very well today, Joe. Very well. I see that Shotcaster. Yes, folks, we are Shotcasters. We're not podcasters. I surely can say we're not talk radio hosts because they're filtered and we're not filtered. We believe in expressing ourselves to the highest level, right? We'll say fuck, shit, bitch every now and then. You know, not for a little decoration, but, you know, to show us that we're real. We're not reading off of a freaking teleprompter like Joe Biden up there in Washington, right? So,
speak for yourself. I see my teleprompter right here. Just kidding, of course. Yeah.
So, Joe, I have a gentleman here in studio, a live sit down with a man that calls himself Chicken. And we're going to wonder why, like, chicken. Like, I'm looking right at him and I'm like, why chicken? Like, if he had to come up with a name, why did he call himself Chicken, or why did he develop the persona Chicken? Right? You want to think of a tough guy name, but maybe that is a tough guy name. I don't know. You know, like you know me better, Joe. Right? I mean, you know, we've had different types of people on the show throughout the last couple of years since you've been part of the show.
Yeah,
but
you know what?
Maybe it is a tough name.
What
are you doing?
The alarm's going off to remind me to make sure I don't miss the record of the show. We're already recording. At any rate, I was going to say I'm a city boy, but my grandparents at one time did have a farm. He grew up on a farm. Chickens are pretty damn tough. They're like a cat, you know. They're very independent, very bold at times. They'll chase you around a yard. They're not, you know, we use the term chicken like, you're chicken, you're yellow, but that's not really true. And really what comes to my mind when I hear chicken is the original Stargate movie. Daniel Jackson, they're on the other planet and tastes like chicken. Buck.
Oh God! All right. Well, we're gonna have to pause Joe here for a moment here, because if I don't pause him, he won't shut up, folks. So anyway, guys, without further ado, I want to welcome in our live studio guest here, Chicken. Welcome, Chicken. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, how you guys doing today, man? It's beautiful out here in Florida. You know that, though. Walking around is amazing. I feel bad. I saw some folks up there. They were showing pictures on the old twit. Golf ball size hail. Yeah. I'm like, somebody tell their weather it's May. Don't they know? Because like, I'm not doing that ever in my life. No. So I want to understand a little bit behind this persona Chicken. Where the hell did you come up with the name? Oh, well, it's Chicken Whisperer is really how it breaks down. And it's just because, you know, I got real surprised during Corona, right? Everybody and their mama got chickens, right? There was a run on chickens. And then like all these other chickens died and places burnt down. So like chickens were a thing, right? Still are. And what I found is there was a lot of people that didn't know where to go. And, you know, I had issues with one, and no vets care, right? Nobody cares about the chickens, right? And so all these people, they developed these real attachments to their backyard chickens because they are like little dogs, right? They're like little feather dogs that have personalities. And like Ed was saying, is a very independent creature. Yeah. And so the roosters, right? Everybody thinks the chickens as just laying the eggs, right? the rooster will literally die for everybody in their coop trying to protect them.
Yeah.
And I've watched a rooster that is little, fuzzy, really all heart, no feather. You know what I'm saying? And right at a pit bull and like, bap, and it's like, that's wild. Because, think about that. It charged into what? A dinosaur and like tried to fight to protect its women. Hey, man, you got to give something like that credit, right? High five it. Give it
hey, credit to words too,
right?
Chicken. And you're laying out some really awesome stuff with dinosaurs and stuff. Wow, Joe, you got thoughts, man? Joe, I see Joe's head like bobbling a little bit, like a bobblehead. You got anything on this, Joe?
Well, I'm laughing about him telling the story about charging the pit bull. Again, that doesn't surprise me. Like I said, and Chicken Whisperer is reiterating. Indeed, those are tough little bitches, and the roosters, indeed, even more aggressive. So they're not this timid little cower in the corner, yellow-bellied image we have when we call somebody a chicken. It's really a misnomer.
Yeah, and I want to say something here, folks. With this whole persona of Chicken Whisperer, right? Because when I hear Chicken Whisper, Chicken, I hear the whisper at the end. You know what I'm getting at with that, right? Like, people, they may have that whisper, right? They could talk to certain types of animals, or they understand them, right?
Right. The nature
you see
of
that with, countless of different animals.
Right.
So, do you have that gift in understanding chickens? Maybe?
Yeah, chickens are great. And, I find that when you study the way they socially interact on a very innate level, you see people do the same things. You see, like when men come together, there's a dominance hierarchy, right? Who's the big rooster, right? And as long as there's enough women, nobody's arguing, right? So men are fine. Well, women, they get together in groups. It's the one in charge that runs all the others, right? And you see that dynamic play out repeatedly. And there's quite a lot of interesting things with their social dynamics. But I like to heal them homeopathic, use herbs and remedies, because like I was saying, no vets really care. So I teach people about how to use herbs to keep their chickens healthy. And if they get problems like floxpox or something, there's things you can do to cure that and preventative maintenance. And so I just try to help the people out when they run into these problems that they just don't know how to overcome because, like I said, no assistance.
Yeah, no assistance. And let's talk about, what you just mentioned with the herbs and what I'm seeing from what you're saying to me is to live on that type of, I guess livelihood, right?
Well, yeah, to do that, to become self-sustainable.
Yeah.
We watched all the people we trusted, right? All the arbiters of supposed truth and our money broke all of it, right? Broke the truth, broke the money, right? So,
and why is that? Yeah. Like, if you don't mind me asking.
The why is so huge. Depends on who you're asking, right?
Yeah.
So if you got a whole team out for the goal to win the Super Bowl, each one of those team members got their own motivations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So one wants a house, one wants a business, one wants a blonde. So I don't know their motivations. I know that I see that team working against our greater goals and better good. So we need to look out for ourselves. That's why I love Florida too. We are looking out for ourselves. We have told the feds, go fuck yourself, several times on a couple of different instances. And I'm all for it, dude, because no, they got to draw a line. They break our money. They break our food. They break everything.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that analogy that you just used, go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? Literally. You're being honest, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But let alone if we say that, it's going to trigger people, mainly on the left, right?
I don't care.
You don't. I don't care either.
Not one fuck's given.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, no, because here's the thing. This is why I come and I advocate this for people. I tell people all the time because we hear it on the Twit, right? We'll get into spaces. We hear these people like my local government did this, and these people around me are morons, and you can tell this and that. Move now. Move while the migration's still good. You know what I'm saying? You see the communities gathering. Come be a place where you can put your kid in school and A, not worry about the gender critical craziness, right? B, actually get a formidable education, because we are ranking pretty high in education in the nation right now.
Absolutely.
And he just added civil understanding curriculum. So we're bringing back to because we went to social studies, and stopped teaching civics, so people lost a civil understanding. So he's bringing it back to more of a civics curriculum. He's a finance curriculum. These are going to be mandatory before you graduate. You want your kids safe.
But we talk about social studies, right? I mean, you come up with a really, really excellent point, right? The social studies today, or that you see today, that we were being taught like yesterday, basically, in my generation, your generation,
our generation,
right? We learn that, But then when we bring it up to try to educate some of the newer generation, like, we're attacked on all that, man.
Yeah. Well,
I just had a discussion just last night with an individual on a space with Daryl Bruckner. I don't know if you know who that is, but he's a big influencer on X. And I was basically going into a lot what you just mentioned.
Yeah.
And there was a very, very young lady there on the space, probably
Savage,
and she was like,
Spotify,
right?
Like, why are you trying to attack me? I'm like, I'm attacking you. How the hell am I attacking you? I'm trying to educate you, inform you,
just by stating
that's truth. Some of the issues, Chicken, that we're seeing today in society. I mean, I hate to go into politics, but I mean, politics is needs to be addressed, because a lot of people don't know politics, and they should.
Right. And they should. They absolutely should. It governs everything in their life.
Yeah.
You elect kings on a local level, on a federal level, because they conduct the rules for your life.
Yeah.
If you don't understand that, then you don't understand politics.
Absolutely. And you make a good point. Joe, I think Joe wants to weigh in on something.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Joe.
A clarification. When Chicken says he's talking locally, DeSantis in Florida, not Biden, who's beholden to the teachers union and wants all our kids dumbed down, ignorant, clueless, and trying to buy their votes with the student debt transfer unconstitutionality garbage. So just to be sure, people outside Florida don't think you're talking about Biden. No.
Yeah. And guys, who we have on the show today, guys, is a media personality, and I guess I could say you're like a Twitter influencer, right?
I don't know.
How the hell should I label you before we plug you in a little bit more?
Listen, I'm just me. I say
you're just me. I love it. He's just me.
I talk a lot on Twitter. I've got like 90 some odd thousand tweets, so I tweet a lot.
Damn.
Here's the thing. Okay, so let me explain. So Elon was smart buying X or buying Twitter when it was, right. I still call it Twitter, twit, stuff like that. So he was smart because it was the thermostat. All right, it was the thermostat of how people responded. But it was another thing. It had another paradigm. When you get propaganda, right, and you label it as a noise, so you call propaganda a noise, and you put it in a one of those bullhorns, right?
Sure, yeah.
Twitter was that little red box that you spoke into before the propaganda hit the mainstay, okay? Because 80% of our journalists use Twitter. So they got their talking points, and they resonated it from there. And so that's why he was smart. That's why he said it was more than about money.
Yeah.
And he understood the power and the potential power in the voice box of Twitter.
Absolutely.
And so it was a genius move, and it's always been that way. It's getting more powerful now, especially with the free speech aspect he's using and the way he's fighting Brazil. Those things are paramount to where we're going to stand in the position of what's coming to be a more heated culture war, because 2024 is going to obviously add gasoline. So it's
and this is why folks, I decided to invite Chicken over here to the studio, because I've spoken to this gentleman on X and some X spaces in the past, and I mean, I have to applaud you. I mean, you're literally like a patriot for free speech.
I appreciate
it. And you get it. And no, I appreciate you, sir. Before we continue with the conversation, I want to thank some new sponsors that are kind of jumping on the show here and supporting us here with this, mainly through our audio platforms or Spotify, iHeart, and etc. I want to thank Go Brightline, right? Brightline trains here in the state of Florida. They're making a lot of headway, not only for Central Florida, but they're making a lot of headway for South Florida. The company behind Brightline, guys, have decided to create a line that literally goes from Orlando Airport all the way down to downtown Miami. And I applaud the hell out of them for doing it. A long time in the making. So thank you very much for those behind the company of Brightline. At Brightline, we're all on ride to a destination that matters. And it truly does. It truly matters because there was a lot of commuters that were fighting for this special train line in the state of Florida, and they finally got it. So a hat tip to Brightline. Scan the QR code, and thank you, Brightline, for supporting the show. Also want to say thank you to Orlando Weekly, right? Another great company sponsoring the show today, guys. We examine the issues that shape Orlando, and you see it all over with this great media company right here in Central Florida. That's right, guys. I do reside in Central Florida, right around Orlando, Winter Park area. So I want to say thank you, Orlando Weekly. I know I've discussed this with you guys privately, and we're going to try to get them on the show, guys. We're just looking for some schedule availability on their end, but they're a tremendous company. So hat tip to Orlando Weekly. I know you're listening. Thank you very much for choosing. Back to the show. So Chicken, 1 second, Joe. Is he Joe? You've raising his hand there in the thing.
Hi, Joe.
Yeah, you know what, Joe? I'm going to let you speak because you speak sometimes, and I haven't heard a peep from you. But go ahead, buddy.
First, why is it Orlando and not Anlando? Just a grammar joke. But anyway, seriously.
That went over my head again, Joe. Can you explain a little bit what the hell you're talking about? What'd you say? Atlando?
No, and not or and A-N-D. Yeah, a grammar
Chicken
joke.
here. He's even correcting me. Yeah.
Just a lame grammar pun. I'm not a grammar Nazi. Anyway, I've been on Twitter, as I've called it, since 2006. And while I appreciate Elon buying it, my @JLeonardDetroit, for all his talk about free speech, is still locked down. I'm @JLeonardAuthor there. But I want to ask you, because if you go on Twitter or X and put in Chicken Whisperer, several come up claiming to be that. So what is your actual handle?
It's @MyRoosterWisdom. @MyRoosterWisdom.
Yeah, okay. @MyRoosterWisdom. Yeah.
And we already follow each other there. So yep.
Yeah. So Joe gave you a big follow there, Chicken.
That.
So I mean, you're one hell of a dude. I mean, you're fighting for free speech. You get it. We spoke about education. We spoke about social studies, a topic that does not get addressed today, even with modern society. Sadly, and I'm going to say this, a lot of these new, what the hell are they? Gen X or Gen Z? It's hard to keep up with that.
I'm Gen X.
Millennial,
Gen
right?
Z.
I'm going to use
millennials are something else.
Yeah, millennials.
Gen Z is the really where you want to have your concern with, because they're getting the extremes of the pendulum swing. You actually see some of these folks, and it's actually a gender split on the direction they're going. So you see a lot of folks heading to the farther side of the right pendulum and the farther side of the left pendulum, right? Yeah. And it's kind of a scary divide. But keep in mind, all of them have been told the same propaganda. When Mao took over China, he went with the olds. We have to get rid of the olds. And it was old ideas, old traditions, old religions, things like that. We're the olds, bro. Okay. And they have been told perpetually through school that you broke everything. Remember, you broke climate, bro. Boomers, they broke housing, right? We all broke the finance, all of us adults.
Yeah.
We obviously don't know what the fuck we're doing. And this is
obviously,
obviously, but this is what they've been told, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter about the successes. It doesn't matter even that we were duped too, because you're supposed to trust in these things that we've established is like how we run society. And so we were duped in some ways too. They don't see that. We broke it. We don't know what the fuck we're doing. So when we give them advice, they take it with a grain of salt because they've been told we don't know what we're talking about repeatedly.
And we're indoctrinating them, supposedly, right? These millennials. Like I heard that in X Space last night. Like I'm like, how the hell am I? How the hell am I indoctrinating you? I'm educating you. Listen. Stop running your jabber and listen. See, that's the problem, Chicken.
Yeah.
These new generation of youth. I'm not being disrespectful, folks. I'm giving you complete honesty.
Right.
They don't get it, Chicken.
No, they don't.
They think that we're indoctrinating them. We're misleading them in conversation. We're trying to be like, a Mr. Know-It-All or a Mrs. Know-It-All. Maybe to an extent, but most of us are trying to educate the less educated.
Well, they don't take experience.
They don't get it.
No, well, they don't take experience as doctrine of life.
Yeah.
They disregard experience. Right?
Absolutely. You see that all the time.
Right. It's 100% what's the experts, what's the next degree, what's this person they say is trained to tell them things. Yeah. But they're literally just blowing back out what they were told. Yeah. Not any kind of thought behind it. It's really sad. In some ways, you gotta have pity on them. Try not to be so mad at them, right? Because they were broken too, right? You watched all these systems, all these big systems who sat there and we trusted, right? The educational system. Only parents understand. And there's less parents now, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we're being put through the ringer. When we stood up, when we protested our school boards, because I was one of those guys, right? Because they wanted to put masks on the kids. I went down there, I protested. They wanted gender critical. I protested.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
It was because you got to protect your kids, right?
Well, like you ever heard the expression, what's good for the goose is good for the gander?
Well, I mean, they are, if we draw a line and say, okay, do this, they intentionally put their foot over it. Intentionally. And they dare. Right. Yeah. So if you don't start talking in a language they understand, then it doesn't get anywhere.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. And the issue here is, I have an article for the Liberty Beacon that'll drop Saturday. Let the left keep pushing. There is a generational shift occurring. So while I agree with you, a lot of the kids indeed are indoctrinated. And yeah, Savage, it's like I know everything because I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night. The old joke ad. Oh, hey, I'm not a brain surgeon, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. But the more the left keeps pushing, the more their anti-American communist fascist agenda keeps getting exposed. Studies are starting to show a lot of our youth are rejecting the indoctrination and waking up. So I like to joke about Generation Y, why are you here? I mean, you're worthless. But
and you bring that up countless of times, Joe, and let alone, they attack you and then, they question like why is he saying this? Why is he going there? Well, not for nothing. With all due respect to you, Joe, I mean, obviously, you're a little older than most of us here in the podcast episode, but you're very informative. And some of your old traditional ways, I look as a life lesson. I really do. I have to be honest with you, Joe. But as we close it up here, because we do have another guest here in the green room. I notice Nathan Snyder. So 1 second, Nathan Snyder. Just give me about a minute, and I'm going to close out here with Chicken. And you're more than welcome to stay around if you like, But I don't know your time frame. But
what time is it?
It's about 11:05.
I can probably run to 11:30. I would want to say something about Joe.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Joe, real quick. How long have you heard the phrase "truth hurts"?
Well, absolutely.
Right. Okay.
Absolutely.
Remember,
Michael
they say
Gardner.
words are violence.
Uncut, raw, and savaged.
Words are violence. I like
That's
that.
what they say.
Yeah,
They say words are violence. When the left is like, you can't speak words, this is why they hate speech, right? They say words are violence. Words aren't violence. But we've known for a long time, the truth hurts. So to them, the emotional hurt feels like violence.
They are hypocrites. They play with the language. 1 minute they will say words are violent, and you're breaking their safe space, and you're offending their delicate feelings. But the next minute they will regurgitate silence is violence if you aren't agreeing with them. So, they don't have a clue what's going on here. And indeed, it's like, it isn't progressive. The left are not progressive. They are regressive. We are going back to the old style of ruling elites, small group tyranny over the masses. They are communist fascists trying to defeat the most free nation where we have individual rights and personal responsibilities. They don't want that. They want to regress to monarchy, communism, fascism, socialism.
Yeah, and guys, we're gonna close this out here with Chicken Whisper, and I'm told that I did reach out to Chicken Whisper here in the studio, and he's gonna stick around here for that, and I thank you, because you're really gonna be impressed here by these next set of guests that are coming in. We're gonna have basically like a dual set of guests here with Nathan Snyder running for the 14th district here in the state of Florida, as well as Liz Dexia 82 that goes by Dex, and you'll understand why I chose to have both of these individuals on the show. Really, really impressive. But guys, I'm savaged. This is Chicken Whisper here, known as Chicken, right? We're gonna call you Chicken, right?
Yeah,
you want a
it.
chicken, right?
Yeah, chicken.
And you're not a chicken. Clearly, you're not a chicken. We could see that. I mean, you're full of power and full of energy, and I love it. I wish we had more people like this in this world, man.
I appreciate that.
Seriously, buddy. And thank you for coming down to the studio. It
Great.
really means a lot to me and, some of my listeners here on Savage Unfiltered. So.
I appreciate you.
And I appreciate the follow too, man.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know how long have you been listening, or to get my words out together. I get my coffee here. But I don't know how long you've been listening to the show, but I really appreciate, your loyalty to the show and, some of everything that comes along with it. I'm out of words, clearly, man. I mean, I'm showing realness here, not a persona. So I want to say thank you, man, for coming by.
No, I've had a great time.
We had a great time too. I don't know about Joe. Joe, have you had a great time? Real quick, man, because we got to close out. We got to bring Nathan on here, buddy.
Of course I have. And Chicken is one of the rare willing to come in studio. Most like talking with Savage, but they don't want to be in the same room with him.
Oh, God. Shut up, Joe. Anyway, guys, I'm Savage. Thank you for dropping by. Be savage, not average. Till next time.